Martin, Taylor, Guild. These names are all recognized as some of the finest guitars money can buy, but they all pale in comparison to the name Pimentel, considered by many the best guitars in the world. And guess what? They're made right here in New Mexico.
So Rick, tell us a little bit about your father's history and the family name Pimentel and how he came to be such an icon in the guitar world.
Well, from day one, my father, Lorenzo, really loved the guitar. Right around the 40s, when he was about 15 years old, some of his stepbrothers used to build guitars, more as a hobby than anything else, and he really fell in love with the idea of guitar building at that time.
At the age of 14, Lorenzo Pimentel began apprenticing at his brother's guitar-making shop in Mexico. At 23, he came to the United States, where he began making guitars in a violin shop. The craft of exquisite instrumentation was passed down to his sons, and now, in 2015, the Pimentel guitar is one of the most sought-after instruments in the world.
And then this will be sliced into two pieces. So it'll be two pieces to make it book match.
So this would make the front and back?
This will be the back. So this will be folded in two pieces to book match it. So once the top is chosen, and then he'll choose his inlays. This rosette is actually made with hundreds of pieces of wood. So we put them into sandwiches like this. To make the rosette, it takes a long time because you're actually making all that mosaic. So then you're getting these types of wood. You slice them into little strips from here and numbering them because they have to be numbered from 1 to 14. So then you're gluing these pieces of wood together. I'm just giving you a quick example, but you're gluing them together, and once they're glued together, every time you glue one, you scrape one edge so it starts to turn. So it makes that little circle. So you scrape one edge and then you keep gluing them, and then you make sure the design is coming out on top. You cannot mess up because once you mess up, then the rosette is ruined. So you have to take your time and be patient with it. And if you can see this is all a bunch of pieces of wood, and the design is there. So then you slice this into little strips, and that is glued, like 3 of them, to make a whole rosette.
Wow.
The instrument is made entirely by hand, cut, chiseled, and crafted by one of the brothers from start to finish.
This iron right here was actually gets about 500 degrees heat, so when it's almost like steaming it. So once we pull the sides out of the water after 30 minutes or so, depending again what kind of wood we're bending, then we'll start bending by hand. We have our pattern of the guitar we're going to be making. So we, of course, like the line that you see here is what we're going to start bending. So I would start bending it by hand. And you can't stay in one spot too long because it'll burn the wood, being as hot as it is. So you just want to keep moving the wood to be able to bend it, more or less steam. And once you got the curve and you think that's the curve on the guitar, you will see if it matches up.
Wow.
See? So once it matches up, then you'll start working from there, and you go on the other side now and you start bending this way. But like I said, you can't leave it in one spot because you'll make a crease on the wood itself.
All the detail is painstakingly assembled, from the dressings on the sound hole through the fretboard using precious stones and custom-crafted woodwork.
Pimentel, the only handmade, are you one of the few handmade guitars in the world?
Right now, we're a handful of hand-built guitar builders in the world. Everybody has gone into CNC machines or mass production guitars. And so nobody really cares about the handmade product. And handmade guitars is so tedious that you really have to put your life into it.
Rick, did you always know you were going to be a guitar maker? Did you ever have an idea that you were going to be a movie star or an astronaut, or did you know from early on working with your father that this is what you were meant to do?
Well, my father always told us, you have a choice. You go to school, you be whoever you want to be, or you can be a guitar maker. And so I've always loved wood, and I've always loved what he's done. He's the only craftsman in the world that I've seen get a piece of hardwood and cut it with a handsaw. At that time, there was no machines, no tools, no bandsaws that he had because he couldn't afford them. So it's the only man that I ever saw that could cut with a handsaw and slice it, or you book match the woods. Guitar making just took it over, and I just kept doing it and kept building and just totally fell in love with that. So yes, since day one, I knew I was going to be a guitar maker.
When it comes to the phrase made in New Mexico, one might be hard-pressed to find a name that rivals the quality, heritage, and beauty of Pimentel. For more information on this family tradition, head over to casa.com.